Hey there, fashion friends. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. Today is a very special episode, being that it is my 2-year mark of being on YouTube.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like.
Okay, so happy anniversary to me and YouTube for our relationship for the last 2 years. It's been a very exciting journey, sometimes an emotionally draining, self-doubting punch to the confidence gut sort of journey, but mostly exciting. Yeah. So being able to do this channel has been great because not only have I grown as a channel, as a videographer, but also I've grown in my own personal style. And one of the questions I get asked the most on this channel probably is, how did I find my personal style? So for that reason, because this is the most asked question on my channel, I thought, hey, what better way to celebrate my 2 years on YouTube than by telling you guys my personal style story. You know, you guys asked for it, so I'm giving it to you. To quote one of my favorite movies, Sound of Music, let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start, actually. So my mom would tell you that my love for fashion and style started probably at birth. When I was a little baby, she used to love to dress me up in little dresses, little themed dresses. She actually took me to a restaurant one time and had me dressed up as a little Dutch baby in a little Dutch dress and with a little like Dutch hat and everything. See, you know where it started. I mean, I had no chance. The waitress thought that I was so cute. She actually picked me up and took me back to the kitchen to show the rest of the staff how cute I was. My mom was like completely panicked and ran back to the kitchen because she thought that she was kidnapping me. But yeah, clearly she didn't. Anyways, as a child, I can't remember a time that I didn't love clothes, that I didn't have a certain, obsession with clothes. When I can remember back to my first day of first grade, and I had these pair of pointed patent leather Oxford shoes with these like wide, extra wide ribbon laces. I'm sure some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I felt fierce, absolutely fierce. And I basically just felt that power. I felt the power of what fashion can do for you, that sense of confidence that you get from wearing something that you love. So with that, I sort of discovered that clothes were a power tool. That clothes were a powerful item to use for your daily, purposes. Especially as like a little kid in elementary school. Elementary school can be scary. But ultimately, at a very young age, yes, I figured out that clothes really have a powerful effect on the way we feel, about ourselves. Ooh, tricky time for us humans, the teen years, awkward as ever. Now at this point, I knew how clothes could transform me into my super ego. But it was really at this stage in my life where I really discovered my love for art, creativity, culture, music. And so as that, artistic style continued to grow, I had that support from the family and friends. So, which I think basically contributed to the foundation of my style confidence, of even my style confidence to this day. I can still remember back to my 15th birthday, and my mom let me skip school, and then she took me to the mall as well to do some clothes shopping in any store you want. And at the time, I was definitely going through like a little bit of like a rocker sort of gothic, not gothic, but like rocker edgy stage. Like I definitely wore like the fishnet stocking layered, and yeah, and I would wear like I would wear band t-shirts sometimes and stuff. So I definitely went through some like stereotypical, you know, teenage style phases for sure. I went through a lot of phases in high school, let me just say. Anyways, I'm digressing. So I wanted to go to Hot Topic, and I was also super obsessed with leopard, and so I knew obviously Hot Topic was the place to go. Some of you might not know what Hot Topic is. For some of you that know, yeah, you know how awkward it might be to go into Hot Topic with your mother. She didn't even bat an eyelash. Like, she just rolled in there with me, didn't even miss a beat, picked out my stuff. She was such a trooper, never made me feel silly or weird about the fact that I wanted all this leopard stuff. But it's experiences and moments like this that defined my courage, to be who I wanted to be. And that was me. I didn't want to be anything other than me. And I never even thought or wondered if there was any other way. So I was actually born and raised in a town just outside of Minneapolis, like a suburb of Minneapolis, Monticello, Minnesota. Woo-hoo. And I moved from there 5 days after I graduated high school to Southern California. And in the beginning, it was just super new and super exciting. And my very first job when I arrived in California was actually a sales associate at a women's only fast fashion brand. And so armed with a discount and all these constantly new trends coming in, yeah, I was hooked. And then I finally got my big break at a headquarters for a major action sports brand as a sales rep assistant. And so by 20, my fashion career was really underway. But as that progressed, I was exposed to more trend forecasting, style guides, and different marketing campaigns. And when you're exposed to that constantly on a daily basis, it is really difficult for your outlook on style to not get altered. To a lot of people, this world didn't affect them. It wasn't at all altering to their style ego. But for me, not sure why, it definitely had an effect. I don't know if maybe it was because I had lost that, support system, that those cheerleaders that were always sort of cheering that uniqueness about me on. And so for the first time in my life, I was really just sort of not myself. I constantly questioned my own style identity and kind of the things that I was drawn to, because they didn't necessarily fit in with these guides that I was always seeing, or these certain parameters, or these trend forecasts. And so I kind of let that part of me slip away and was so much more concerned about staying within these parameters. So with that, my personal style was lost. So my last job in the fashion industry actually started with an epiphany. So I had been working for a fast fashion brand as a visual merchandiser for just over 3 years, and absolutely loved the company and the job and the people I worked with. But I, since the beginning, had always wanted to work for a luxury brand or a luxury designer. So I did quite a few interviews with a lot of really good companies, and every time I had an interview, I do intense research on the brands, about the brand, their background, and their sort of like aesthetic, their style aesthetic. And so I'd make sure for the interview that I bought an outfit or got an outfit that was, ridiculously styled to the nines in their sort of aesthetic. And a lot of times it wasn't necessarily my style, or wasn't necessarily something that I was comfortable in. Finally, I was interviewing for a visual manager position with a luxury brand that had a very sophisticated contemporary style aesthetic. And I absolutely loved their clothes. But I had also just recently, had a new haircut, which was the Ellie Goulding side shave haircut. Yeah, I had really long hair with a side shave. Loved it, super pumped on it. But yeah, I wasn't quite sure it would fit in with this brand's aesthetic. So I thought, oh, maybe I should style my hair so it covers that side shave up. And so that was where I finally caught like a little glimmer of who I was, of who I used to be. I basically decided, yeah, well, this is me. This is my haircut. Like, if they hire me, this is what they're getting. I'm not gonna cover this up every day. So no, I'm not gonna cover this up. I'm gonna rock this new hairstyle that I absolutely love. And I'm also not gonna go buy some ridiculously overpriced outfit that doesn't really make me feel comfortable. I'm gonna wear what I've already got. I'm gonna wear what I love, what I feel really, really good in, what makes me feel the best version of myself. And if they don't like it, they don't have to hire me. I got the job. So with that, I do feel like that was the beginning of my personal style rebirth. I've always had that underlying edginess, and I think this is where, when I got that haircut, is when that edginess was basically reborn. That little rocker high school girl was coming out again. But only this time I was combining that with my newfound love for this classic contemporary style of the brand I was working for. Just the really clean lines, just the really beautiful minimalistic tailoring, and just, yeah, fell in love with that combination of edge and classic contemporary. And so then when I decided to exit the fashion industry to enter into the freelance creative industry as a videographer, I just was able to continue to nurture that newfound style that I was beginning to really love. And this was also around the time that the Minimalist came out. And so this gave me a whole different perspective on my wardrobe. When I turned 30, I was a freelance videographer who had embraced this sort of minimalist lifestyle. My husband and I totally jumped on the bandwagon, cleared out clutter, really changed our perspective on just objects and buying stuff and just everything like that. It really became more about quality versus quantity. And so with that came my, today's mantra of only keeping what you love, only bringing in pieces that you absolutely love into your closet, into your wardrobe. It was actually more empowering and even made me even love my wardrobe and my clothes even more, because now when I came to my wardrobe, I didn't see just a bunch of mush. I didn't just see this noise of stuff. I only saw the things that I love wearing. So it just made me so much more excited to get dressed every day. Also, when I turned 30, I got pregnant with Gus James. Yeah, it was basically the most exciting, best thing that ever happened to me. I think with that as well, it came with a sort of responsibility as well with the clothes that I was buying. Along with that, the clothes that I was buying, I wanted to be functional, but I also didn't want to sacrifice style either. I still wanted to keep the integrity of my style, because I think at that point I really recognized how hard I really worked to get to this point, of my personal style, my personal aesthetic, my personal brand. And yeah, I didn't want to lose that just because I was becoming a mother. So it again added a whole nother perspective to the pieces that I was bringing into my closet, because I needed things that still held on to the integrity of my style, but were also very functional and comfortable and practical to wear as a mom. So when it came time to start my YouTube channel, when I finally came to that decision that I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, I definitely went back and forth on different things to talk about. And for some reason, fashion just wasn't something that I wanted to talk about at that point, because I think there was a little bit of a bitterness that I had towards the fashion industry, because I did see a lot of not great things that came with the industry. And I think that was definitely kind of weighing over me. I had basically separated myself from it. But then my husband made a good point. He was like, you know, if you're gonna have a focus, you have to speak to what you're an expert in. All the best channels out there are people that are extreme entertainers or are experts in their field or experts in their topic. And so I knew I wasn't an extreme entertainer, so I knew it wasn't falling in that category. But I knew that I was an expert, or at least very experienced in the fashion realm. So I had to basically figure out how I could talk about that and still be true to my style, still true to my own personal style, still true to my newfound kind of outlook on clothes and fashion. But I think also what happened with starting my YouTube channel was I think I started to realize that I really do love fashion. I love the whole art of fashion. I love the exhibition of it. I think that, you know, I hadn't lost the love for that part of it. And I think I kind of forgot that, you know what, I have the power to really do whatever I want to do, to be whoever I want to be. I don't have to fit into any sort of box that anybody else, you know, is telling me I need to fit into. I can do whatever I want to do. That has definitely, again, contributed to my confidence and building my confidence again, and me finding my childhood and my teenage style confidence again. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've kind of discovered in these 2 years of being on YouTube now, is that I think more than anything, what I'm excited to be here for is to help others in their style journey, in their own personal style journey. And also for me to continue mine. I'm super excited. I don't feel like I'm done yet. I know I still have a journey for myself, personally and stylistically. So yeah, it's just a great place to be right now. I'm just super happy to be here with you guys. And yeah, thank you for being there with me. Thank you for being a support and a friend. And yeah, I'm excited for us to continue this journey together. So, like any good story, there's a foundation, there's a conflict, and there's a resolve. But, like any good cliffhanger, there is no ending, only more of the journey.